This is a project I started in CS 6.0, but for this to demo, I'm going to use 4.2. I'm going to show you how in 4.2 you can quilt left to right, then right to left. I have the needle sitting right at this point on the quilt. I'm going to right click, relocate, shift all to one point. I'm going to click on that point, click yes, and I have relocated the quilt on the CAD screen, all the patterns to match that point on the quilt. I've drawn my boundary, and I will check the alignment of this pattern on the right and on the left side of the quilt. I have checked the edge of the quilt on the right side and adjusted the patterns. I'm now going to show you how to set up to do a left to right, then a right to left. I want this top row to quilt left to right, and this next row to quilt right to left. And the same thing with the third row down, left to right, fourth row, right to left. Then I will roll the quilt. So here's what you do. Select all of the repeats in this second row to be sewn. Select all of them. Right click and combine group. And when I click on this, it'll be one pattern, not individual repeats. Then I right click again and I reverse the start and the end. Now it will quilt left to right in the top row, right to left in the second row, left to right in the third row. Now I'm going to set up the fourth row. Select all the repeats in this fourth row. Right click, combine group, select it, right click, reverse start and end. Before I ever do anything else, I'm going to take the time to do a virtual stitch out and show you how this will stitch. I'll press the F2 key because I'm in 4.2, and it will start. I'm going to take the plus key and I'm going to increase it until this thing speeds up its process of going across so it doesn't take forever. It will go to the right to left on the next row, left to right on the third row, and it will go right to left on the fourth row. So you can see how it's going to do this. Now, if I wanted to, I could probably quilt these next two rows also. It would be pressing me a little bit, but I could get those rows in there. So what I'm going to do with, I have 4 rows set up, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So then the 5th row will quilt left to right, and if I make this next row quilt right to left, I could do that by selecting all the patterns in this row, all the repeats, combine them, select it again, reverse the start and end. Now it will, in fact, stitch those 6 rows. Next, I will select all of these rows. I will right click, tell it to fill inside. Next, I'm going to select that boundary, and I'm going to delete it because I don't need it. Why I'm doing that is to show you these dark lines here on the side are stitching lines. There's dark lines on this side. That means it'll stitch this top row left to right, stitch down the edge of the quilt to the second row, stitch right to left, down the edge, left to right, and so on. So that's how you do this in 4.2. Okay, I've quilted these 6 rows. It's time to roll the quilt and do it all over again. So that's how easy it is in 4.2 to quilt left to right, right to left.